let's call this meeting to order. Let's rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Susan, was this meeting properly notified?
The meeting was properly noticed.
Okay. And we're to public comment. Anybody have any public comment on anything which is not on our current agenda? Jana?
Do a handout so you can maybe follow along, might be a little bit
Is it different than this?
Yes,
Okay.
got nothing to do with that.
Oh, okay. Oops.
How's your wrist?
Well, you know, I've had better days, but this too shall pass. I'll let you two something, but it's 12. It'll be easier. Say, bye. Okay, my name is Jana Evans. As a Town of Oakland taxpayer, I would like to address the following concerns regarding future substantial tax increases regarding expanded EMS services to the Town of Lake Mills and proposed changes to the IGA. The total population for the Town of Lake Mills is 2,217 people. And attending their board meeting on March 14th, it was stated that the contract with Cambridge EMS would not exceed $60 per capita, which equals $133,020. The Town of Lake Mills is already paying an equalized value for their current coverage area of $38,816 per the existing IGA agreement. The Town of Lake Mills is the only township entering into contract with the EMS. All other townships that EMS Director Blount and Mark Cook have been negotiating with have gone with another provider. Although our EMS service has been responding to the expanded area since July 1st, where is the formalized agreement in place for payment that has been voted on or reflected in any minutes of the commission? Who is paying for the cost at the present time? As you can see on your handout, both above figures combined don't begin to cover the estimated payroll expenses of $458,427 to commit to additional coverage for the Town of Lake Mills. Simple math would suggest they would need to generate in excess of $236,000 in call volume for the additional coverage area to break even just for payroll. The 2023 total budgeted run income for Cambridge EMS is $250,000 for all 5 municipalities. This does not take into consideration the other expenses involved in this commitment that still have not been provided, even though asked for several times. At a Village of Cambridge board meeting on April 25th, Paul Blount made it crystal clear that the Commission, Mark McNally, and himself assured that we as taxpayers of the existing municipalities would not be responsible for any expenses related to expanding EMS services. Aggressive income calculations don't even cover payroll expenses. In fact, it puts us taxpayers in a guaranteed increase in our tax liability. It appears the Commission and EMS Director are disregarding the simple math calculated regarding the Town of Lake Mills contract or possible IGA changes. Also, Mark McNally at a Village of Cambridge board meeting on November 22nd indicated the proposed changes to the IGA are strictly fiscal. How can that be when the 2023 budgeted line item for the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department payroll for the entire department is only $66,710 for the year? The newly negotiated contract for just the EMS Director, Paul Blount from Lake Geneva, is $95,000 a year plus a full benefit package. It is also my understanding that a deputy chief that resides in Caledonia was recently hired to run the day-to-day operations of the EMS at an unknown pay rate. You need to ask yourselves, based on payroll expenses calculated on this document, what will be the expenses for payroll if you allow changes to the IGA regarding our volunteer fire department? They are ignoring the reality of what changing the IGA would cost to eliminate the recognition of the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department and go to a paid full-time department or a hybrid of a full-time department. It would be financially devastating to us taxpayers. You do the math. Unless I'm missing something, how can changing the IGA be a strictly fiscal decision? The station referendum that was denied twice by area constituents pales in comparison to the taxpayer implications for what is being proposed related to the IGA changes. As a trustee of the town of Oakland, it is each of your responsibilities to protect us taxpayers from unwarranted expenditures that will increase our tax liabilities. Do you know the total dollar amount of spending that has occurred through the Cambridge Fire and EMS Commission for 2023 year to date that was not budgeted for or is in excess of budget line items, nor approved at any municipal meetings that will put all municipalities in a deficit position for the current year? Where will that shortage come from at year end? It's not the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department that's broke. Don't try and fix it. And I have noted some fact check resources regarding my statements above, so if you have any questions about where I obtained that information, you can use those resources to fact check.
Okay, thank you, Jana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else on any other topics which are not on our? Okay. Approval of minutes from the July 18th board meeting. Thank you, Mr. Jensen, for running that in my absence.
No problem.
Would entertain a motion to
So
approve.
moved.
So, Todd, second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Police chief's report, Jerry.
Good evening.
Aye.
I finally got a positive update on the squad. Should be here, hopefully, they said the end of August, beginning middle of September. So fingers crossed. But the downside of that is I contacted the company that's gonna outfit it, and he's way behind because you got squads coming in, not all at once, but they're coming in. So he has several in front of us, or will have, and then one of his guys is out on medical, so.
Any chance we can hold on to the truck, or do we
I'm
have
gonna-
to give it to him when we take delivery of the squad?
I'm hoping we can keep it.
Okay,
Otherwise, there's gonna be
yeah,
some time delay in there.
okay.
So that's the good news. A new hire, I received an application from a potential hire last week. He has not well, he may have by now, but as of right now, I don't know whether or not he's contacted his full-time employer to ask for permission. So I said I was not gonna move forward until he got the okay to move forward, so.
Okay.
But it's promising.
Good.
Because Jacob Danner said the sheriff's office is so short, he's not able to put any hours in with us. And then school started again in Milwaukee for Armando, so his hours will be cut down as well, so. So another new person would definitely help. Last month, I sent a yearly training and standards compliance report into the state. Every year, every officer in the state has to have 24 hours of mandatory training. That goes from July 1st until June 30th. So that report was submitted. We should be good.
And we're in compliance?
Yep,
Okay.
correct. Water patrol, everything's going very well. Armando, Jim, and Randy been out again quite a bit the last month, so been staying busy. Town of Oakland, I had told you a couple meetings ago, Town of Oakland was going to participate on July 26th with the Speed Awareness Day campaign. It's a Midwest campaign for speed. They say it's one of the leading causes for crashes. We did participate. We wrote 5 speeding citations, 1 warning, and then 1 citation for no license. It was going very well, and then Armando got called off for a death notification and investigation, so we got cut short a little bit. But that went pretty well. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Jerry?
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks.
good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry, appreciate it. Assessors report, Mr. Pounder is not here.
Was not able to make it, no.
What we know is that we are done with the open book, and coming up the end of this month is the Board of Review, and at this moment, we have 8 requests for Board of Review meetings with ourselves and the assessor. And so we'll probably be getting a few more, so remember to plan, and if you don't have those dates marked yet in your
That's
calendar.
the 30th?
It's
August 30th.
Yeah, so I'll try to get here for part of it. I do have school starting on the 28th, so.
Well, they can live without you.
What time are we starting?
9
9
a.m.
a.m.
All day booked?
Looks like with 8, yeah, and we might have to go over to another day if we start getting more than what we can realistically do in a day. So, okay. Road supervisor report. Jeff is, as you know, out on medical leave. Did see the doctor this week and got a good report on how he's healing. The surgery was a little bit less than what was thought it was going to be, so hopefully recovery will be a little bit quicker and we'll get Jeff back on that. So, update on Park Road. The engineering work is completed and their packet is done and ready, and so we would be able to bid when we get into the new fiscal year, which would be January, which would be a great opportunity if we can bid that early to get that work done next summer. So, and I think that's when we estimated we would spend the money. If I'm correct. So that's going along. Okay, Susan, clerk's treasurer report, please.
The boat launch, so far this year, we have sold 852 daily passes for $6,306.28 and 168 season passes for $4,685 for a total of $10,991.28. Last year, and this was through Monday, so that would be the 14th of August. In 2022, we took in $11,825.81 for the whole season. So I am thinking that we should at least meet the 2022 total, if not exceed it, because we still have one holiday weekend left. The boat launch fence has been installed. We're waiting on some signs to be made that will really make the boat launch look a lot nicer and neater. For ARPA, the Blue Jay Way road project is scheduled, and it is supposed to happen
They
this
should,
week.
they're going to be cutting the access to the driveways this week and probably will not actually tear it up and pave until next week. But they should be starting tomorrow or Thursday at the latest to do the cuts at the driveways. And then that's,
It'll be done by school then.
yes.
And that is one of the largest ARPA expenses that has to be completed. The other one is our workhorse accounting software is coming next week. We have not paid for that yet. We are still waiting for the new court computer. It's been ordered, and then we need to get the software package, and then we need the voting booth. We need one additional voting booth for the 2024 season and beyond, and the projector and screen. We have spent about $11,500 so far, and with Blue Jay Way and the remaining items, we'll be spending about $130,000.
Just for those of you who don't know, the ARPA funds are from the American Rescue Plan, which was the original COVID funding that was provided. And the problem became you couldn't go and spend it because the government kept changing what the rules were on what you could spend and what it was for. And what your reports had to look like, so we didn't spend very much at all waiting for those. They've now finally issued the rules, and they made them much more easier. The Blue Jay Way does serve and help the school. Because that street has been in terrible shape. It's right in front of the high school, and so that's an important part. And the workhorse counting will make us more efficient in the office. The voting booth, are we doing that four-banger where you could do? We're going to buy an additional table that then has divisions so 4 people can vote at once, because we needed to get more than what we have, and we don't have a lot of other wall space. So this will be a standalone thing where 4 people can vote, and they're protected, and nobody else can see their thing. So just those explanations. So okay, Sheila, Cambridge Community Fire EMS District Commission report.
We had a meeting on the 10th. We were able to get officers elected, and the officer, Mark Cook, was elected president once again in a 4-to-1 vote. I was elected secretary-treasurer in a 4-to-1 vote. We had a closed session for some time. We came back and reported our findings and our expectations for a letter that the attorney is going to send to the Village of Cambridge in response to a letter they wrote. The work begins. Being secretary treasurer, I will be kind of getting up to speed on everything, and I'll have more to report at the next meeting.
Okay, good. Thank you.
May I just ask a question of Sheila? Well, it's just a general question.
Okay.
Where can the general public, what website can they go to find agendas and the minutes from previous meetings for the fire commission?
To my knowledge, there has not been a website where those have been published, but that is something that I will be working on for the future.
I have a recommendation. Is that something we could post on the town's website, those meetings and agendas?
Well, we do post when we get the agendas, but we only get them a day or so before. So, and then we just post them. We don't necessarily always put them up on our website, but it would be easier if the fire commission got theirs up. And
Has there been any discussion about another joint meeting with?
Not a joint 5-municipality meeting. Things took a pretty big turn when Cambridge voted to not to have any changes to the IGA right now, especially related to that.
I didn't realize that.
There was a brief update on the next steps after the closed session the other night on the 10th, and Chris Brunig brought that up and reported that we are going to take a look at how in our next open session, we are going to take a look at how to get both parties back at the table and try to decide what the next steps are to move forward together. And that's about as detailed as it got right now. My focus right now is mostly just getting some semblance of order to the minutes and the agendas and the filing and keeping. We're going to put everything on a laptop that will actually travel with whoever is secretary treasurer from now on, so that we don't have these breaks in who's got the box. So that's one really positive thing that I'm excited to get working on. there will be there's a number of other things that we'll be reporting on at the next meeting that involve the bookkeeping, bill payment locally, 2 signatures.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Okay, good. Thank you
We
very
got a
much.
question back there.
Yes.
Sheila, this may be just for you, but I was at the last fire and EMS meeting. Why did you have an attorney run the meeting?
That's not my call, but
That's really
I-
been, let me just, I can
Go
answer
ahead.
it. Mark Cook has felt that it was expedient for him to have an attorney run it so he did not make any mistakes. And so he has made that decision to do that, to stay procedurally accurate.
Then Ted, on a follow-up question with that, what would be the cost to have that attorney travel out here and conduct the meeting?
Is that budgeted for?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't honestly know. I know why Mark has done it. That's all I know. I don't know budgeted or anything. So
Isn't that why the board elected Mark to be president?
again, I don't pretend to know exactly what Mark's doing, except that I asked him about that one time, and his was, I just don't want to make a mistake. So that's really, I'm sorry, I can't fully answer your question.
On
We-
the minutes and the agendas, there is very limited information, I think, on the Rockdale or Christiana website. If you go to the Cambridge EMS and fire department, or the fire department website, there's a link down at the bottom that says the minutes and agenda, and that takes you to one of the municipalities. It's either Christiana or Rockdale. There's some agendas out there. There's very limited, but if they have it on their community website, I don't know why all 5 of the members couldn't also have information as it becomes available, and hopefully we'll get.
Yeah, that's the problem, is when it comes available and what else we're doing at the moment.
right. I think you can expect to see a considerable amount of improvement where that's concerned. And ideally, if we create a website and we publish it to that, the links can simply be supplied to the municipalities, and their work will be minimal, because it'll carry you right to the original place. So I think you can expect to see considerable improvement.
Okay, let's move on. Next item is to authorize the town chair to perform certain duties under Wisconsin state statutes. We have traditionally operated in a mode that the town chair is given the authority to solicit bids for projects and money, and also to appoint people to perform certain other duties, attend other meetings. And that has been questioned. I talked to Gene. It was that way when he took over as board chair. Pretty sure that it was that way when Vern became chair, but it's been questioned now whether we have that authority, and whether the town board has given it to me. So I'm going to ask you by motion, I move that the Town of Oakland Board of Supervisor authorizes the town chair to perform on behalf of the town board the duties enumerated in State Statute 60.24, parentheses 1, parentheses F, which then has sub-items solicitation of bids, and 2, represent the town at meetings of other governmental bodies. And in addition, the town board authorizes the town chair to remove supervisors from appointments to represent the town at meetings of other governmental bodies. I would move that, seeking a second.
I'll second.
Any questions, discussions?
I have a question. Ted, I'm not understanding part 2 and what it is that you would be seeking to do, I mean, from a practical standpoint.
To appoint people to go to various meetings, to represent us in other I served for, excuse me, probably a year and a half to the towns, representing the town's on the county's plan review, which was an in-depth thing, and so Gene appointed me to that. I appoint people to do various duties and responsibilities, and we're trying to work some of those around a little bit differently. So that's what that is to do, to allow other people to represent me, because it can't be everywhere.
Well, what I'm thinking of is if you're given this authority, whether, what's the purpose of the whole board in being able to discuss what's happening instead of having you make the decision for the board?
We can,
And I'm
but
thinking particularly on the sensitive subject of the commission.
we can, and we quite often do, but at other times I need to be able to have the flexibility to make decisions.
I think it's most important, especially with the climate that we have and what's going on in the commission and what has been happening in the commission, that this body has the opportunity for representing the taxpayers in the town of Oakland properly and being able to discuss any issue, including any change to the IGA, and voicing your opinions, getting educated on the issue, and not letting one person who may or may not have biases to vote for you. And I feel very strongly about that.
Okay. And I'm not sure that we want to be paying our people to attend a lot of different meetings. We have the opportunity, and we are improving. We've started this month where we are improving our agendas and having more reports from those people that have responsibility, so that we do that. I think this makes sense. It is something we've done forever, and it makes sense, and it's something that we should do. Most of the time we work by consensus anyway, but this was just something that needs to be done. So.
This says act on authorization of the board. So you have to be authorized by the board?
Right. You're authorizing me to do some of these, and the way we've always done it is to generally talk about those as we work through them.
So I have a question. This is a bit confusing, and you mentioned you've been challenged, and I'm not sure what you meant by the challenge, but statute 33.282B relates to appointments that the town chair can do and then bring back to the board for approval. How does this relate to that statute?
It's different in that some things, this largely speaks to only other governmental bodies.
Give an example. What do you mean?
When I was appointed to serve on the county's plan review committee, it's another governmental body. I was appointed to go and do that.
Why wouldn't you want board input from supervisors who are elected to represent their people? You still have the ability to appoint and not appoint, but the supervisors have the ability to represent their voice also.
Did I not report almost every meeting when I went to the rest of you and entertain questions?
Well, I don't think anybody's challenging you. I'm asking, why wouldn't I, as a supervisor, be able to voice my opinion? Why would I delegate my authority to you or any chairman? Why wouldn't we have the ability to speak on these issues?
I think you do in a lot of respects.
You're just saying we have to relinquish it to the chair.
I'm saying that it makes sense a lot of times to do that.
Well, on the fire burn, we understand that. That's an emergency service. We did agree to do that. But to do it on a broad scope forever, to say that the supervisors can't speak on issues in front of the public.
No, they can speak on
Well,
issues.
you mean the burn ban? That was
done, right.
That was according to state statute. That state statute says that the town chairperson is essentially the warden.
Fire warden.
Right.
That's according, this, I think you're talking about something different.
Well,
than
that was an example, but chapter 33.282B specifically relates to appointments and how they're done. You make the appointment, the chair makes the appointment, and then the board votes on it. That's a specific statute.
Okay.
Are you saying we're relinquishing the right to vote on that?
I'm saying that there are other ways to do this, and we've done that in the past. So
Well, that may not be the right way to do it, I don't know, but my question is, are you saying that 33.282B will then no longer be in place according to what you're
No.
asking?
No.
What are you saying? I don't
I'm,
understand.
I'm saying that we would be in response to this other state statute that solicit bids and then to other governmental bodies.
Okay, well then I would agree that number one would be fine. You have the ability to solicit bids and bring them back for equipment, materials, and services, but number two says something different, and that's what I'd like clarification on. Represent, designate another officer to represent the town at meetings of and hearings before governmental bodies of matters affecting the town.
Right.
What does that mean? That's different than appointments to committees.
Right, that's to go and represent the town, be the town's representative to another governmental body in certain situations.
But that's not appointments. You said appointments. That's not appointments.
Well, I designate someone to go and do that. And it-
Okay, my question may be a little more clear. For example, Sheila's appointed to represent the town at the fire commission.
Yes.
I'm currently appointed to represent the Lake District according to the town board. How does it change that? Or does it change that? Ability to appoint to those two bodies?
Doesn't change that. And you were appointed by Gene to the Lake District.
And Sheila was appointed by you.
Right. And
But the
so-
statute says you have the ability to appoint, comes back to the board approves the appointments, and it moves forward. What does this do differently?
It doesn't come back to the board for the appointment of those things.
For approval,
Right.
which gives you sole possession to do it or not do it without approval of the board.
That's right.
Yes, in that respect, but you can always ask to review something at a board meeting, put it on the agenda.
Okay.
So this is, you would have the authority to appoint someone other than a town board member?
No, it would be a town board member.
Statute 33282B speaks directly to appointments from the chair gone to the town board for approval, specifically.
Okay, I'm sorry, they're different statutes. I'm going out of a book that was provided by the Towns Association of.
Well, is your intent
So,
to do something in that statute? Is your intent to do solicit bids for maintenance and other things for equipment? What are you trying to accomplish?
I'm trying to accomplish both things,
Okay.
soliciting bids and
So-
doing appointments. that-
In my opinion, the board shouldn't relinquish their ability to approve or not approve appointments. That's a very important process that we have. That's clearly stated in 33282B. We should not relinquish that as supervisors.
I'm
We
sorry,
have the ability
no,
to
Virginia,
approve
this
and not
is- This is
approve.
a board discussion, I'm sorry.
Oh,
This
after
is-
they're done.
Let me see.
That takes it out of our ability. We're elected by our people to represent our people. That takes it out of our hands then, and I don't know if that's fair. I don't agree with that. That's not fair for us to do that. You have the right to appoint, and then it should come back to the board for approval.
Okay.
We have always just said who wants to represent the fire departments, who wants to do this, and then it's just been an agreement. Has that been a problem?
Not entirely, but it has been to some degree, yes.
The statute's clear. It says he makes the appointments, the chair makes the appointments, but then brings them back to the board for approval. All towns and villages do that. That's the statute.
There's the statute that I've quoted is different.
I believe that statute you quoted is for a different reason. You're saying it's not. I got legal counsel opinion on it also, and they agreed with us. So I
That's
highly
not
recommend.
terribly surprising.
I highly recommend that the supervisors do not relinquish their ability to vote on appointments and non-appointments. He has the ability to appoint, and that should be gone through the board for approval. All towns and villages do that. That's clear in the statute, 33282B.
We do have a motion in a second.
Been moved in a second. Any further discussion? Virginia, I think we need to vote on this as a body. without further comment. So I would ask you to withdraw any request for.
Why not?
Why won't you let people speak?
Because I think this is a decision the board needs to.
It is a decision the board will make.
All right, Virginia, go ahead.
Let me just ask you a hypothetical. If 60.24(1)(m) is voted in, let's say that the commission at their meeting asks for complete support to change the IGA. And you are there at the meeting. Is it your belief that you would not need to take those changes then back to the board before you issued your vote?
No. When you start talking about a major item of changing an IGA, that needs to be the discussion of the board. But if it's, let's have the meeting Thursday versus Saturday, then I think if my responsibility and I'm representing the town board and I say, yeah, we're not doing anything particular Saturday, sure, that's fine. I don't think that needs discussion. I think there's a sense of reality that issues here. Yes, we're a cooperative board, we try to work together, but we also try to parse out duties so that everybody's not doing everything, and try to make use of expertise. And sometimes it comes down to a matter of we trust each other to do the things that they need to do.
But there's trust for you to do the ministerial things anyway. This statute is something different. This gives you power that you would not have ordinarily in order to have the democratic process, have these people do what we have elected them to do as board members, each debating and having opinions on things and making a decision. You have, as chairperson, authority in any number of things you don't need statutory authority for. Thank you for hearing me.
Right, like I represent the fire department in Jefferson, and I haven't gone to Fort for a while. Anything that they say at a meeting, purchasing equipment, for example, for Jefferson, I have to bring to the board for approval. Why does that need to be different?
It isn't different.
It wouldn't be different. I mean, I would do the same.
But it's a matter of, Joy, if I say, you know what, I'd like to get Tom involved going to the fire department meetings and let you do something different.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, well, that's what I'm asking for, is the authority to be able to do that. That's all I'm asking for.
You're asking for a lot because you're saying that we then as a body don't have the ability to weigh in on it. That's an issue. This board was elected to do those types of things and have those discussions. You're saying you're going to take those discussions away from this board by doing that. That's exactly what you just explained.
No, I'm not. But
That's the result of it.
I am trying to have the ability to make the best use of the talents, the skills, and the abilities that we have and that I can use as individuals. So that's
By
all.
taking our voices away, that does not accomplish that.
Jimmy, I'm
Is
sorry.
there a particular underlying concern that we all need to be aware of here that's prompting this?
I think there is.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Very simply, I want to replace Jim on the Lake Management District because he serves as the chair of the Lake Management District, and I feel that's a conflict. You can't serve two masters. You can't be both a town supervisor and the chair of the Lake Management District, so I want to replace him on that. It's very simple.
And you're objecting to that?
Yes.
I'm objecting to, there's a clear way to do this,
And
and
the
it's
Lake
statute
Management District, let's be honest,
33282B,
Jim, let's be honest, the Lake
which
Management
means there'll be
District
appointments made,
has-
and they'll come in front of the board, and the board decides, approves, or denies appointments, like any other town or village. That's
Lake-
that simple, and it works
Lake
for any one of
Management
us.
District has given me a legal opinion and said they don't think I have the authority to do that I can't replace him. So,
Without board approval, because statute 33282B says exactly how appointments are supposed to be. This board makes those decisions after you bring them forward. The chair brings them forward. The towns and the villages do the same thing. It's done at the village the same way, it's done here the same way. You're trying to circumvent this
No, it hasn't
statute,
been
and that's
done that
wrong.
way. No, it hasn't been done. But let's take the vote, let's
I'm-
make a decision.
I'm not comfortable with this.
Call for the vote.
I just did.
What's the motion?
I don't. I was hoping
Town
that I
Oakland Board of Supervisors authorizes the town chair to perform on behalf of the town board the duties enumerated in state statute 60-24, parentheses 1, parentheses F, which includes the solicitation of bids and the representation of the town at meetings of other governmental bodies. And would also authorize removing a supervisor from that, one of those duties. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
Nay?
Aye.
Motion is defeated. Let's go on to discussion possible action on ordinance 2030, open burning and fireworks regulations. It was distributed to you. We have one correction to make on that. If you would go to section 3010 under liability, the very last sentence. It reads, "We may want to include a similar statement after the section on large open burnings." That was an internal note for Joy and I to discuss this when we did the final review of this ordinance before publishing it to you. And we did that, and that we missed taking that sentence out. So we would strike that sentence and then propose this ordinance for approval. Joy, do you want to talk any about this?
It's just that was just a private sentence, not to do with the ordinance. I don't know. It was updating our, the ordinance that we had for burning, open burning, and adding about issuing burn bans, and just making it more in-depth. And fireworks, requesting permits, and we also drafted permits to go along with the open burning, the large open burning and fireworks.
I have a question. When it comes to open burning, I got a couple examples that explain to me if this is a permitted requirement or not. The first example I can think of is when we burn here at the hall. Does that require a permit?
That would be a large open burning permit. and we'd
So
issue it
we're gonna have
ourselves.
to, the town hall's gonna have to get a permit to do our burns out here?
But it comes
We
from
would-
us.
Right, we would issue.
Well, I understand we issue the permit, but we're gonna have to request a permit to burn every time we burn out here?
Mhm.
Does
But
that
we
make
may-
sense? I mean, I don't know. I mean, just asking. That's my first example. The second example is the Lake District does our field burns every other year on different sections of the prairie and the preserve. Is that gonna require us to get additional permitting over top of what we already
I
do?
was gonna say, you get a DNR permit.
We do.
Yeah.
We get different permitting. But are those things captured in here? Or could we rewrite it so we don't have to apply for our own permit on our own property, or is that part of that? Because we have the Lake District burns here, and then we have our burns. When Jeff burns the wood, I mean, it's burning, so is that somehow exempt, or should it be?
When Jeff Burns here, he is in communication with the Cambridge Fire Department. They know,
Right.
and
But is it, according to this, he can't do that without a permit, if I read it correctly?
Right, but I don't see a problem for us to
There
obtain
is-
a permit. But there is something to do with our open ones that requires, or that we have to, DNR has to do something on that. I'm trying to remember exactly where it was.
It was, there is something about it. What happened to that sentence?
I don't know, I can't find it. But here it says that open burning is conducted on property in which the materials are generated and then approved by the town of Oakland chairperson or the Wisconsin Department.
On the permit, right, what's on the permit?
Uh,
30,
It's 30.2.2.
What's changing really, and I apologize for my lack of knowledge here in pre-reading.
the biggest changes are really dealing with fireworks and then the permitting process.
And the burn ban, we didn't, the ordinance that we had before didn't have anything about issuing burn bans.
Oh, that's right, I forgot.
There was something, is that in the permit about the?
It's in 30.2. Open burning shall be conducted only on the property which materials were generated at a facility approved by the town of Oakland chairperson or designee or the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. So that covers when the district is doing it.
And then it also says
So you
here,
get a permit from the Department of
written
Natural
We get all the
Approval
Resources?
by
permitting
the
from
Department of-
the county
yeah.
and natural resources, but this
So that would-
ordinance, does it exempt that then in this section?
Yes, because it has the word
Open burn.
or the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources.
And then it also has it in the permit,
Okay.
that you'd have a written copy of approval by the Department of Natural Resources.
Okay, so according to this, then, we wouldn't require additional permitting through the town,
No,
but Jeff would currently.
yes.
Why don't we, do we want that? Or do we want to, is that what you want?
Well, we should live by our own rules.
Well, that's what I'm asking. He's going to have to file for a permit every
Yeah.
time he burns?
Yep.
We're also, this last time we did not burn, we hired a firm that took all of it and mulched it all in a day. That cost us some fair money, but it also, we didn't pollute the air and water. And
No, we're short on help right now, too.
So we're looking at seeing if there's a way where we can do that more often. We were beyond the ability to burn this last time. It was way too much. And so we chose not to do that.
So there's no permit required for small burning on your own property?
Right.
It just seems odd that we would pay ourselves to get a permit. That's why I'm asking. I don't know if that's proper.
We would probably waive the permit
Waive the fee.
Okay, well, that's what I'm asking. I mean,
But the permit would still have to be taken out. We would just
We would
waive the
still-
fee.
okay, so your intention is to waive the fee, but require the paperwork to be done.
So that we live by the same of what we ask other people. The other bigger issue is we will not issue fireworks permits to individuals to set off fireworks in their backyards. These will be only for fireworks displays on Memorial Day weekend, 4th of July weekend, Labor Day weekend, and New Year's Eve. And that is the only time that we will only issue permits for large displays.
On the day itself, is that what you're saying?
Well, on the weekend.
So if the 4th of
Which we-
July is on a Monday, they could still do it on a Saturday?
Right, and the racetrack, Speedway he'll do 3 days over Memorial Day if he can. And that's a lot of, so.
Which we have already been doing,
I know.
issuing, or the person that does their fireworks brings in their own permit. This is our permit now.
We may have to change that language a little bit. I think it said on the day, where's that at in here? Where are the dates listed in here? holiday dates. What section was that? There it is. 30.8C.
Right.
Permits will be limited to fireworks displays for the following legal holidays. And you list the holidays. It doesn't say weekends. So it actually lists legal holidays: Memorial Day, July 4th, Labor Day, and New Year's Eve. So if 4th of July was on a Wednesday and they wanted to do fireworks Saturday, this would not be approved then. So
Well,
you may want to alter that.
We can change in the actual ordinance, but the permit says corporate entities may apply for permits on multiple holidays and on holiday weekends. May apply for multiple displays on subsequent days on the initial permit application.
Okay, so one permit could cover multiple days or multiple permits?
Let's say the racetrack speedway comes in and he wants to do 3 nights on the Memorial Day holiday. That can go on one permit.
One permit for, okay.
But
Doesn't quite read that way, but.
on 38,
The application is incorporated into the statute, so.
So the application and the language in the statute should match, right?
so you want to change
Well, I think it'd be more clear, I guess, if someone's applying, they should know that,
30.8.
yeah, 30.8C should reflect the application language.
Following legal holidays instead of, fireworks displays for the following legal holiday, how would you say that, weekends?
Well, you
I mean, what kind of wording?
You would literally put in language if here's how we used to do it, put it in language, if the holiday falls on a weekday, it could revert to the weekend. I mean, you could just simply state it that way.
Legal holidays / holiday weekends.
And then you would grant
And
the
then-
permit to cover a certain amount of a day within that weekend, or however you do it.
But here it does, on the permit, it does say
Right.
location and specific time of display.
Yeah, so you just need to match the language 30.8C to the application.
He's saying
May-
that the
Maybe it
actual
just,
ordinance,
maybe the ordinance says legal holiday periods or timeframes, just to make it easy.
Holiday period. Is that what you
Holiday
said?
periods.
Period, not period, period. This is the word?
Periods, yeah, timeframes, legal
Right.
holiday timeframes.
Right.
For the following legal holiday period.
Period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
periods is what I'm saying, is one
Right.
word, not
Right.
a
right,
exclamation, not a period, dot.
Right.
Or the
Okay,
week of
so
a
It's
the
the
legal
legal
holiday.
holiday periods, so it's just open to whenever that may, we all know that they never, they don't always happen on
They
the,
don't always happen on a holiday.
and quite often, most of the time they don't. In some cases they do, but
Good, I like it, that's a good idea. That work for you?
yeah. So
so
you
just
don't
the
wanna-
intent is within
Yeah.
that time frame.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Do we-
Second?
With, we don't have a motion for
Okay.
that yet.
So we
Do
would
you
need.
know so you can change the wording then?
We'll have to make a
Yes,
motion.
We
We
would
would
make
have
a
to-
motion,
To
and we
approve
would,
as amended.
as amended, and we've got two amendments. We've removed a sentence under 30-10 liability, and we have corrected the sentence under 30.8C to say the following legal holiday period.
Okay.
Right.
I'll make a motion to accept or to approve the ordinance 2023-30 open burning and fireworks regulations with the aforesaid corrections.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next item up is possible action on operator's license for Lauren Lostetler. Files in your,
I'll make a motion, we approve the operator's license for Lauren Lostetter and Kara, or Carla Meese.
I'll second for both.
for both, okay? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We do not have a submission from John on his assessor's contract for next year. The contract is up a little bit later on this fall, so we should be getting something from John before our next meeting. So, any correspondence, Susan?
No.
Okay. Next item, approval of disbursements.
I'll make a motion that we approve the disbursements, beginning with electronic funds transfer to the Wisconsin retirement system through and including,
We do have this correspondence.
Oh, I apologize. Yes,
It's-
we do have fire department.
It's some letters from the fire department that they wanted everyone, all of the board members to have. Okay, Mr. Jensen, go ahead.
to repeat, I'll make a motion, we approve the disbursements, beginning with EFT to the Wisconsin retirement systems, through and including electronic funds transfer 72939636 in the aggregate amount of $181,205.91.
Second.
Any discussion? Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Motion is carried. Next meeting dates, next Tuesday, we have our public hearing at,
Isn't that Monday?
On the
It's Tuesday.
it's Tuesday.
22nd.
That's Tuesday.
22nd is Tuesday for the
I had it as Monday.
wake enhancement.
And that's at
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
We have fact sheets that we have available for everyone. Also, they'll be mailed out to the Lake District residents, and we'll have them available on the website and at the meeting. So,
I had it at Monday. I don't know when it got changed,
It is.
because I knew I couldn't make Tuesday.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.